Ramana Maharshi, the great sage, said, man's true nature is happiness, which is inborn. Man's true nature is happiness, which is inborn. That's very far from what I would have thought before I went to India, that my true nature was happiness. I mean, my true nature is not misery, suffering. My true nature, let's turn it to my true nature is happiness, which is inborn. That each of us has inborn happiness. Somehow we don't experience that. He says, one search for happiness is an unconscious search for the self. Everybody wants to be happy. Every one of us here, whether we consider ourselves a spiritual seeker or not, is a seeker of happiness. And we have different ways of understanding how we can get that happiness. Some of the ways that we have are intelligent and some are really stupid. But everything we do is that search for happiness. And then Ramana says, at last one finds what is already there, happiness, bliss that is eternal. So the way of a yogi, the way of a spiritual seeker, is to understand that this happiness is a prior existing condition. It's there hidden by our negative tendencies. And if we can quiet them down and go deeper, we can get in touch with that already existing happiness. So you have to make some effort to find that happiness. You can't be satisfied with what's superficial, your superficial thought process or your cultural persona. You have to go deeper. And if you can do all these things, you'll be able to fulfill the message for 2014. And it is, Maestro? Bhavana Rakho, and there's the man who spoke it. A number of years ago, I did programs in Los Angeles with Master Charles and with Swami Shankarananda. And during that time, we invited one of the real old-timers of our tradition to give a talk at our program. And it was the astrologer Chakrapani Ulal. And he's still there in L.A., being the Vedic astrologer to the stars. But he's one of the few individuals of his generation who's still with us. He was a devotee of Bhagwan Nityananda and also a friend and devotee of Baba Muktananda. He traveled with Baba on his world tours. So a lot of experience. And we were interested in what it was like around Bhagwan Nityananda, because none of us had met Bhagwan. Bhagwan Nityananda died in 1961, long before any of us had gone to India. And in his talk, Chakrapani said that Bhagwan Nityananda used to say this phrase, Bhavana Rakho. And it really struck me. Chakrapani translated it as, keep the feeling. Keep the feeling. Bhavana means the feeling or attitude. It's from the root bhu, which means beingness. So in the sense that your attitude or mood or feeling defines your beingness, that's your bhavana. Like if you're in despair, that's your bhavana. That defines who you are in that moment. Or if you're full of optimism, then that defines your beingness in that moment. Or if you're full of love, that defines it. Or if you're full of spitefulness, that defines your beingness. So what does Bhagwan Nityananda mean? Okay, thanks. I like that. That's saying keep the feeling. He means the true feeling of the self, which is bliss and love and light and consciousness. So he's saying keep the true feeling. Keep the true feeling. Rakho means keep, but it also means make. So we can say it also means maintain. So that might be a better translation for us. Maintain the feeling of the divine. How do you maintain it? How do you maintain that feeling? How How do you not go into depression, misery, and anger, and paranoia, and rage, and the million shocks that flesh is heir to? How do you not do that? Well, one way you do it is you prioritize it. You make it your priority to stay in that good space, that inner space. For example, is it more important for me to get angry at that worthless, hideous person or to be in the self? Is it more important for me to feel overlooked or paranoid or to be in the self? Is it more important to brood about and cling to the past hurts, or to be in the self? See, if we give it priority, we discover those other things are indulgences, and that it's more important to stay in that good space. However, if you're not in that divine experience, and we have to admit we're not always in that divine experience, then you should make that feeling. You should get back in touch with it. You should create it. You should get in touch with it. You know, when Chakrapani told us this, my admiration for Bhagwan Nityananda increased, if that's possible. I thought that's such a great teaching. The art of great spiritual teaching is to say little but mean a lot. This one phrase, Bhavana Rakho, is mantric. It's mantric in its power. There's so much contained in it. For example, a mantra like Om Namah Shivaya is just 5 syllables plus Om, and yet if you practice it and repeat it, you discover actually it's infinite. It's a doorway into infinity. And Bhavana Rakho is something like that. It encapsulates the whole yogic teaching in a short phrase, and I think it includes the whole of the Shiva process method. When you receive Shaktipat, you experience a divine state. Even if you've not received Shaktipat, you can remember moments in your life when you felt terrific and peaceful, right? Remember moments like that. You felt life is great, everything is harmonious, that sense of peacefulness. After Shaktipat, after the awakening of the inner energy, and you experience that state, you often think it's permanent. You have no idea how many people tell me, oh, Swamiji, when I received Shaktipat, I was so high for 3 weeks or 3 months. I thought I was realized. But then I came down. And I say, of course you did. Now, Bhavana Rakho, recapture that feeling. Now do some work. Gurdjieff used to say, remember why you came. Because when you get caught up in the whole process of spirituality, which is like taking yourself apart and putting yourself together, you get lost. So remember that initial impulse. Remember that beautiful state. Remember the love. Remember the peace. And go back to it. Reclaim it. It's always there if you make that effort. Why do we come down from those high states? And we come down due to our tendencies, our past hurts, our jealousy, our paranoia, our misunderstandings, whatever. You know the whole catalog of these ignorances. But the Bhavana Rakho puts that state, the divine state, front and center. We measure everything against it. It's what I call the clear space of good feeling that I talk about. And this is also the goal of mindfulness. But Bhavana Rakho goes beyond conventional mindfulness. Mindfulness means to be aware here and now, in the present moment, of every thought that arises, every feeling that arises, every sensation that arises, and sit calmly, not identifying with that. But there's something beyond these thoughts and feelings and sensations, and that is this, what Shaivism calls the Spanda principle, the experience of Shakti, or the direct experience of divinity. And this is the mindfulness of Bhavana Rakho. It's to be in touch with the Shakti, the higher power, the spiritual power, divinity here and now. And this is real Shiva mindfulness. This Bhavana Rakho is the exercise of our free will. Shaivism calls it svatantriya. They love that word, the Shaivite gurus. They love this word. Svatantriya means freedom. Siddha svatantra bhav. A siddha, a great being, is completely free. So what is a siddha free to do? Well, if you were completely free, how would you misuse that freedom? Kill others, control others, manipulate things in events, make a lot of money. Well, this is not what it means. Spiritual freedom is something different. That might be what we would do. A siddha's freedom is different. Such a being is free of bondage to past habits, past tendencies. We're the slave of our past hurts and our traumas and all of that. A siddha is free to connect with the self and to make choices that always bring him closer to God or closer to himself. This is his freedom, to make that free choice. And as we work at our yoga, start to know ourselves, we become more powerful. We become more powerful than our tendencies. Sometimes we feel dragged under by these endless tendencies that we have. But as we practice, we grow more powerful so that we can always choose Bhavana Rakho, to move towards the self. So a siddha is free to prioritize the self, and if we work on it, we also can become. So this is my message for 2014. Bhavana Rakho. Point all your spiritual efforts towards that feeling state full of Shakti and joy and love. When you're in that state, keep it. When you're not in that state, first, before you do anything else, make an attempt to get back to that state. That's your natural state. That's your true state. That's who you really are. From that state, you have to understand this, from that state, your life works much better. If you prioritize externals, thinking I'll do that first, then I'll worry about this, that won't work. If you stay in that state, your whole life will work much better. Make it your priority and work in it. If you're in it, do everything you can do to maintain it. Don't be brought down by this or that. We let ourselves be brought down by all these irritating other people. Notice these irritating. Everybody is irritating. There's not a single person who can't be looked at in a certain way and be seen as irritating. They are just so irritating, but they should just be like the buzzing of bees. You just hear them in a distance. Don't be brought down by it. Always take the high road. Cherish your state, that Bhavana Rakho, and protect it. And if you're not in it, then find out why. Fearlessly find out what it is. The answer is there. Go deep within and find out what it is and overcome it and make every effort to get back to it. Nothing's worth sacrificing that inner space. This is the faith of a yogi, that that state of peace and love and joy is his best contribution to himself and to the whole world. And I know that I had the good fortune in my life to meet great beings. And no one I've ever met had as much influence as they did. And all they did was stay in that space and radiate love and peace and wisdom in all directions. And by doing that, they helped so many people. And just to be in that presence of a being like that was the most priceless thing that I found in my life. And I've met many great people of great accomplishments in the outer life. But no one could measure, no one could equal the space of consciousness of these great beings. So Bhavana Rakho, you are the self. You're a divine being. Let yourself be that divine being. So keep the feeling. So that's it. Once again, with great love and respect, I welcome you all with all my heart. Keep the feeling. Tat Guru Nath Maharaj Ki Jai.